Basically, at this very moment, the situation is quite fluid. We really, in a way, you can say that right now we seem to uh, lack a governmental presence. We don't know where to go if something happens. So there is a bit of a uncertainty right now. There has been an army involvement, and there has been in talk of interim government. The president this morning has dissolved the last elected parliament, but there is an uncertainty in the air, which is quite concerning. Things are not clear, and we hope whatever happens, there has to be a very clear, defined authority to protect lives and properties of the citizens. This is a bit, if you like, uncomfortable situation, quite uncomfortable situation.
May I ask you if you believe that the army that is, at least in the interim, in charge, is in control of the street? Because there is some concern that they may not be fully in control, that the genie is out of the bottle. Some of the images we've seen, and I'm not saying these are representative of the entire agitation, but one particularly disturbing image, and we'll play that for you, was of a protester urinating on a statue of Mujibur Rahman. Like I said, the most disturbing images out of Bangladesh have been of the founding father, the statues of him being brought down at multiple places. And I'm sure you've seen this one of a protester urinating on the statue. Lumpenization of movements don't capture their full essence, but I'm just wondering how concerned you are.
No, these are very disturbing signs. As a freedom fighter, as a personally a believer, and also a great admirer of Bangabandhu, I am disturbed, in fact hurt. However, I don't think this is a reflection of the people of Bangladesh at the moment. It is not a reflection even of the students who led the movement. It is actually an expression of a pent up resentment against a regime that gradually moved away from democratic norms and became very authoritarian. And one thing that I missed in Foreign Minister speech to the
Jaishankar?
Jaishankar's
Yes.
speech to the parliament is that he referred to violence and all that, but the killing of students, which really tipped the balance. I mean, the student movement all through was peaceful. There were some instances of traffic blockage and maybe some very sporadic violence, but it was overall peaceful. Imagine that at least 10 lakh students out in the street, but there is no vandalism, there is no attack. The tipping point was 15th of July. First, it started by the declaration of the General Secretary of Awami League saying that my student league is good enough to handle these people. And that began the attack by the student wing of Awami League, armed student wing of Awami League, attacking on the students. And this was followed by police firing. Now, if my dates are correct, so the first day the death was 6, and the prime
Yes.
minister came on the television and said she regretted it, and she is forming an inquiry committee, and she regrets the death. But second day there are 29 deaths. On the third day there are 66 deaths. Then down to 29 and something. Within a matter of less than a week, we have about 225 people, students about 45. And in our countries, you have street vendors, you have hawkers all over the place. So when there is a
Yes.
indiscriminate shooting, there are, there are deaths all over. Now we have still not understood why this violent reaction, because students were not setting fire on anything. Of course, in a mass mentality, sometimes you
Yes.
have undesirable things, but the spirit of it was peaceful demonstration. It is the police firing. I would like to tell all those people here present that there is two segments to the story. One is the increasing repressive regime around against which people had their own resentment. Three elections, 2014, 2018, and last one, 2024, they were all heavily rigged. And because
Yes.
the government, with the help of the police, the media, everything, they were able to manage it. I think Sheikh Hasina got into a confidence mindset that I'm able to manage everything. But that is one part of the story. And I think that created resentment, anti government sentiment. But it would not have resulted into this
Mm.
violent outpouring but for the killings that took place. Believe me, I mean, I'll just show you. Can you see me?
Ca- yes.
This is
Let's go full
this is
frame. Can we go full
this
frame?
is
Yes. You're trying to show us something. Can we
this
go
this
full
is
frame? Yes,
this
sir.
is last Friday's our paper, of which
Yeah.
only 15% of the boys and girls who were killed we were able to publish. Look at the faces. Now, government got into a narrative. Am I taking too much time?
No, please complete your point. Just please
No, no, no.
complete your points.
The government went into a narrative that these are not students, but these are members of the opposition. They were members of a religious extremist. So they are using the student to go for anti-government sort of demonstration. And
Yeah.
particularly when it turned into a one-point demand, it did so at the end of more than 300 dead by our count. And we were very
Yeah.
conservative. We counted on the basis of dead bodies in hospitals, in morgues, and in, in narrations of the relatives. But other
Got it.
newspapers and in the social media, the numbers are much higher. This was the tipping point.
So you have explained everything very lucidly. I will just ask you very briefly before I open it up. Sheikh Hasina is in India. How is that being viewed in Bangladesh?
Uh, not very favorably, I'm afraid. But a person's security is his or her first concern.
Yeah.
I personally think that I mean, she didn't have to leave the country. She could have gone to some place. I mean, there's enough support for Sheikh Hasina. I mean, she is a very highly regarded prime minister. She lost the plot, in my view,
Yeah.
is when her mindset was closed and she became so overconfident and that she can do anything. It's a very, if I
Yeah.
may make a journalistic sort of comment, that a all-knowing prime minister ended up realizing that she did not know her own people.